Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome to another Sunday night, evening, afternoon toy chat with my host, DavidWorldToys. Well, this week I'm doing another special guest that's not been on the channel, but I know he's an absolutely amazing collector. I've known him for quite a few years. He asked me to call him the Sentai and Power Ranger collector, but I know him as a few other bits, but we'll introduce him and he'll tell me all about himself. Please welcome to the stream and DavidWorldToys, Jez. Afternoon,
Hello.
Jez.
Yeah, good afternoon. How are you doing?
Yeah, not too bad, sir. Really good. You and all your rest of your people okay over that side of the world or down Londonish?
Down south, yeah, we're all
Yeah.
doing all right. It's a bit wet, but you can't have it all, can you?
Nah, we get the same up here. Perfect. Just for all the new people to the Sunday Night Live toy chat, what do you actually collect, Jez?
So, I've got quite an eclectic collection, really. It is mostly Power Rangers, Super Sentai, and Kamen Rider stuff. But for Power Rangers, I kind of collect morphers. But I also have like the original Mighty Morphin Zords and the Solar Chogokin stuff and that kind of thing for that. So a bit of Mighty Morphin and then the morphers throughout. And then for Sentai, I collect anything dinosaur related. And I also do anniversary seasons. So I have been doing Gokaiger and Zenkaiger mostly with that. And then for Kamen Rider, basically any of the CSM henshin belts that take my fancy. If I like the series and like the belt, then I have that. If not, then I don't. So you would look at it as a bit of a spotty collection, but it's basically just the stuff I like, I keep, and the stuff I don't like, I don't bother with.
Perfect. Do you just explain to the new people or people don't know about Power Rangers or Sentai what the difference is between Power Rangers and Sentai and then all the other like Toku Satsu series you know of, please?
Yeah, sure. So most people obviously are familiar with Power Rangers, and that's how they get into this world. Power Rangers is actually based on a Japanese show called Super Sentai. And what they did back in the original Mighty Morphin days was take the in-suit and mecha robot footage from that, and then rather than having the Japanese actors doing the dramatic parts, they would employ their own American actors and tell their own completely separate story to create an episode of Power Rangers. Super Sentai had already been on for about 15 years before Power Rangers came along, and then they've both run concurrently ever since. So Super Sentai is 47 years old now, something
46,
like that.
46.
Yeah. Power Rangers is 30 years old this year, and so those have been working hand in hand quite well. Originally, it was you would get the same toys because Bandai Japan, who make all of the toys for Super Sentai, would just ship the same toys with different packaging out as Power Rangers. But in more recent times, when Hasbro bought out Power Rangers, they now make the Power Ranger toys with completely different molds. So now if you wanted the toys from a Super Sentai, you could get the Sentai version from Bandai, or you could get the Hasbro version, depending on what you fancied, really.
Perfect. You also mentioned the Kamen Rider belts and that sort of stuff.
Yeah. So a long tradition of kind of superheroes in armor of some description in Japan. So not only do they have Super Sentai, which is a team of heroes, they have other series like Kamen Rider, who was traditionally a solo superhero who rode a motorbike and wore a mask. Kamen being mask, it kind of works together. The tokusatsu genre kind of dates back to things like Godzilla back in the 50s, and Ultraman was a pioneer of it as well. But Toku basically stands for special filming, and it's mostly related to people in rubber suits hitting each other.
Not like wrestling, like spandex, like wrestling then.
It's pretty much just like wrestling. Just you're
We
dressed
got
as a
more
monster,
costumes. Yeah.
and yeah, there are more clothes in tokusatsu than in wrestling. You wear less for wrestling. The moves are basically the same. I've
Yeah.
seen a Hurricane Rana delivered by Ultraman and by people in the WWE. So
Ooh, that'll be interesting.
and JDF also delivered a Hurricane Rana when he debuted in Power Rangers as well. So there are lots of wrestling moves everywhere in Tokyo. They work kind of hand in hand.
Perfect. Just a couple of shout outs at the moment. Manga Fandango, which is Simon. Good evening, sir.
Hello, Simon.
And you've met him before, Dark Liking, Thursday night chats.
I
He
have
says
indeed,
hello.
yeah.
There you go.
Hello.
So, it's crazy, isn't it? So, Kamen Riders, is it older or younger than Sentai? I know there's a 5-year difference. I can't remember which way around it is.
Yeah, it's Kamen Rider that's older. It's 5 years older. They have just celebrated the 50th anniversary of Kamen Rider. I think it was last year or the year before. And yeah, so Godzilla was even older than that, and that was 1954, 1956, something around that.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think Ultraman is about the same age as Kamen Rider. I think we're about 50 years into that now.
Yeah.
So it's been around a good chunk of time.
And then basically there's another series called Metal Heroes, which is like a 15 different anniversary called Metal Heroes. And that was a similar sort of thing, but another company, was it, altogether?
Well, that was made by Toei, who make Super Sentai and Kamen Rider, but it was a completely separate thing. And there are so many other Toku series out there made by independent people that I haven't seen them all. I couldn't list them all.
I know almost every single. I know France has got their own one. Korea's got loads. China's got every single country's virtually now got like a Tokyo section or Sentai themed. It's very similar, isn't it?
Oh yeah, they're all pretty much the same kind of premise. It's either a single person or a group fighting a bad guy that's usually some kind of giant rubber monster or massive machine. Yeah.
Get into a costume, put a special weapon out, get in the big robots, and battle you go.
Yeah, get on a stage, have dirt thrown at you, and knock over some cardboard buildings.
Yeah, basically. Would you class the original Spider-Man? Because I know Spider-Man did have a mech robot back in the early days of bits and pieces.
Yeah. So the Toei company made a Spider-Man series of their own, fully supported by Stan Lee, and that did have a giant robot in it called Leopardon. That's definitely a Toku series. It was basically the same as a Kamen Rider series, but it was Spider-Man, and it was something that people were familiar with from the Spider-Man comic books. And actually from that, Stan Lee got super interested in Super Sentai and almost brought Super Sentai to the West long before Power Rangers was a thing.
Yeah. I think it was is it Bioman? I know that was in the Toys That Made Us documentary. So
so actually Bioman came later. Stan Lee wanted to bring Super Sentai over as early as
Sun Vulcan.
What was it? Sun Vulcan, yeah. And he couldn't really get the interest in it. And then Saban tried Bioman in the mid 80s and couldn't get that off the ground. And what it took was dinosaurs. It was the dinosaurs that sold it as they came into the 90s.
I know most of the robots from the early Sentai, the pre-Power Rangers, came in. Was it the Go King range? Bandai released them in the Go King range. Same robot, same metal thing. If you didn't get the Sentai versions, it's the Go Kings, is it?
Yeah, Chogokin. Yeah. They basically just surplus stock that they have. They repackaged or put English descriptions on them and sold them everywhere. Yeah, you could buy the Chogokin robots here in the 80s. They were very popular in Europe, in France and Italy especially. So
I know France. I got a couple of French versions of like Jetmans and a few other bits, and they're virtually the same. It's just the box art's different.
The toy themselves is identical. Yeah.
Just before we carry on, do you have any of the toys of the different series you collect behind? I know you got quite a good wooden shelves there, or plethora of stuff.
Yeah.
Anything you want to show off?
we're in my main streaming setup here in the corner of the room, but this is actually my office and my storeroom for the website that I run, the Toku Source. So I do have a lot of things around me that are from Super Sentai Kamen Rider. You can see the transformation device from the most recent Super Sentai King Oja started the top of the month. What have I got in reach here? Figures. Few little small robots. There's the front of the box there. Turn around. And things like that. Kamen Rider wise, what have I got in reach? Kamen Rider wise, it's things like that gimmick devices that go in the transformation belts.
Yeah.
This is actually a mix of two different series. This is something from Kamen Rider 01 and Kamen Rider X-Aid. But yeah, I've got all kinds of stuff. Oh, there you go. Reaching around. Godzilla versus Kong.
Yeah.
It's all tokusatsu, and yeah, I stock it all and then try not to collect it all, basically.
Whole idea. So before I forget then, what's your Tokyo store called again?
It's the tokusource.com. You can find us at that website, and also on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram. Might even set up a TikTok soon if it doesn't get banned in the Western world. We'll see. But yeah.
Do you ship all around the world as well, or just the UK or Europe?
Most of the world. I can't ship to the United States or Canada, unfortunately, because of the litigious nature, shall we say, of the American people. And there are no insurers in the UK that will be willing to take on that level of risk. So I can't ship there. And that doesn't seem like it's going to change. I've worked very hard recently to try and make that change, but unfortunately I've got nowhere, and it's not going to change. But anywhere else, the website itself caters to all of Europe and the majority of the world. And if there's anybody out there watching in a random country of 6 people and you want me to send you some toku, then you can send me a message and I'll find you the postage cost there. And
that's at tokusource.com. Was it again?
The tokusource.com, yeah.
It'll be in the link in the description after, when we finished. All the Jez's, all the bits and pieces he does, and everything else will be in the description, just in case you guys want to reach out to Jez after. I've known him for, was it 6-7 years since you started the store?
Yeah, I think we'd met long before that. But yeah, I started the store in 2015 as a Toku Toy store. Still got all of the old stationery lying around. That's what it used to be called, Toku Toy Store. I've got far too much stationery left over from that. But I changed the name at the beginning of this year, and it's the Toku Source now.
Perfect. Just looking behind you, I've noticed an American football trophy.
Yep.
Do you actually play? I know you've got a Chicago Bulls basketball thing, but I know you as an American aficionado of NFL, and the trophy does look cool. And I'm like, did Jez win a trophy on this Chicago?
Well, yeah, I'm just big into sports in general. So I have my fingers in far too many pies, really. In addition to the Toku Source, I run a sports website called JEZ Sports. Pretty simple name. Me then Sports. And this trophy is actually the trophy that I won for getting the most predictions correct on one of our podcasts. I do a weekly podcast with my friend Matt called 2 Minute Warning, which covers all of the American football kind of side of things. And
you almost look like the Lombardi Trophy. It's perfect.
It is the Lombardi Trophy. Yeah. It's a 3D printed replica of it. But yeah, loads of sports that I enjoy and cover on JEZ Sports: American football, wrestling, motorsports, Formula E, Formula One, IndyCar, rugby. As long as it's not soccer or boxing, I'm into it really, and I'll happily talk about
cricket.
I'm not against cricket. I have no real cricket knowledge, but if there is nothing else on, I'll happily sit there and watch cricket because it's a sport, and I enjoy sports. I like the competitive aspects of it all.
But technically, I know you for NFL. You've been to the Chicago Bears ground. You've trained with them as well, if I can remember rightly, for your Instagram.
I didn't train with the Chicago Bears. I went to their training camp and watched them train in the preseason. I used to coach and officiate American football, so I've been a referee and a coach. And when I was out in Chicago, I spent some time with a high school with their American football team, and well, they just call it football, obviously, because they're American. But I spent a few weeks with them, kind of shadowing and looking at how they do things, and brought that back to my coaching practice.
Perfect.
And yeah. But I don't do that anymore. And I did play for a while, but I found myself breaking my ribs far too often.
Yeah. So which do you think would be harder, rugby or American football? Because it's basically the same ball-ish, but one goes forward, you can throw backwards. It's like, which team would win, like an England team or an American football team? But I know the rules are different. Like, what would you say?
Well, that's the thing. If you were playing American football, then the American football team would win. If you were playing rugby, then the rugby team would win, because they are absolutely completely different sports. And I get the comparison a lot. People going, "Oh, rugby, it's just American football's just rugby without pads in it," and all that kind of stuff. But it's not. They're completely different sports. Rugby is kind of a low level, constant being worn down and hit, and you're more just under constant pressure and pain all the time. Whereas American football, it's more of a high speed collision. You are moving at speed, and then you are stopped very rapidly and hit very hard. So they are both very difficult sports. They are both very hard sports. They are both for people who can handle pain, but they're completely different types of pain. And I do get a little annoyed when people try and say that one is better than the other, or pass off one as more hard than the other. It's a stupid comparison, really.
Yeah. It's one of the things when you look at it, it's like, can it be done like I know they're done in the boxing world, UFC versus boxing, like perfect. You can't compare it. Floyd Mayweather versus Conor McGregor.
Oh yeah.
You can also say like wrestling and boxing, but perfect. Even that was like half fixed a couple of years ago, was it? Or 10 years ago now, was it? Mayweather versus Big Show. It's like, no chance. One squash and little fly. But I'm hoping one day they actually can do like a versus, but I can't see it ever be done. It's going to be a brand new sport, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. You could do it. You would probably have to do one game of American football and one game of rugby, but you would just get the people who specialize in one sport winning. So you
win each half.
Yeah, you wouldn't do anything.
No,
you wouldn't determine anything. You would have a 1-1 draw, and people would have some fun, and some people would break some bones, and that would be about it, really.
Plus, if you did like a tackle, like one of the England rugby guys did it to one of the big mega stars in American football, they wouldn't get it, would they? Technically.
Well, yeah, it depends.
Especially one of the quarterbacks, it's like, you know what I mean? It's
no. If you've got one of the big props and puts his full weight into a quarterback, that's not going to end well. But likewise, if you have a linebacker come at you at full speed, even a prop is going to be completely taken off his feet. It's because they're not used to that high speed. It's all
hello, Mr. Ronaldo
in rugby. Hello, Orlando, welcome.
Yeah. So last question on NFL then.
Mm-hmm.
I asked you this question, must have been about 7-8 years ago. Is it now down to the quarterback or is it down to the coach? Because basically when Tom Brady left New England Patriots, he did quite well at oh god, what's the team he went to?
The Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
That's the one, Tampa. But I know he had the team, and a couple of his players went with him, like Gronkowski and a few bits. And he said, "Yes, it's down. Is it still down to the quarterback or the coach? Do you think, or a bit of both?"
It is a bit of both, and it really depends on who the quarterback is and who the coach is and who the team is. There are certain players like Tom Brady who are generational talents and have a far more control over what the team does than your average quarterback that comes in. And there are very few guys like that. There's really only one left, maybe two in the NFL now that Tom Brady's retired. As much as I hate the guy, Aaron Rodgers is probably one of those guys that could go to any team and succeed and control the offense himself. I'd argue maybe that Patrick Mahomes at the Kansas City Chiefs could probably do that. But also his head coach, Andy Reid, is a fantastic coach and has a proven track record of getting it done with whoever he's got at quarterback. So maybe not. That would be something you'd have to test. But no, it surprised me when Brady left New England, just how badly the New England Patriots declined, because their head coach, Bill Belichick, was supposed to be one of these ultimate coaches that could get it done regardless. And as it turns out, maybe he's not.
He was almost like the Pep Guardiola, wasn't he, of NFL, basically, if you put it into football terms.
I'll have to take your word on that one.
Man City football coaches, he did. They point you when he went to Barcelona, he had the players. When he went to Bayern Munich, he had the players. When he went to bits like that, so there you go. Right, you mentioned something else in sports and bits and pieces, and somewhere on your Instagram, you've got an amazing costume, or you dressed up as Demon Finn Balor.
Yeah. I'm one of the other sports that I'm into is wrestling, professional wrestling, WWE stuff, and I don't tend to cosplay very much, but when I was out in the States a few years ago, I decided to go to Chicago Comic-Con dressed as Finn Balor, the Demon from WWE, and that's probably the least clothes I've ever worn in public in my life, to be honest, because it was just tiny black shorts and then paint and a big headdress, big flowy headdress, and then paint across my naked upper body. But I don't know what prompted me doing that. I just felt like, when in Rome, go for it. And it turned heads. Well, got a lot of attention.
Yeah, well, perfectly honest, no one knew you over there in bits and pieces. So
yeah.
So before we carry on with wrestling, what do you wear in the swimming pool then? Do you wear your t-shirt, your long jogging trousers, and everything else?
Well, just longer shorts. I can't really express how small and tight that these little black trunks were that I wore for the
budgie smugglers. Then basically,
they were pretty much. I had to wear a cup to make sure that everything wasn't on display for it. But they were basically tiny little cycling shorts, and they were small.
So technically, you did have it again. You would almost go like a spandex suit and paint it all yourself first, then put the suit on, then hopefully it sticks.
Yeah, well, actually, I did all of the applying of it, like back at the in-laws' house, and then drove an hour in a pickup truck, paint, headdress, the whole lot. Yeah, just drove in full costume. It got a few looks on the freeway for sure.
Everyone said, "What's it? It's Finn Balor driving a little pickup."
I did get mistaken for the actual Finn Balor by Becky Lynch. Actually, when we walked into one of her panels, she just stopped talking and just like did the double take and had to stop and check that it wasn't Finn Balor. So
So
that was
at
quite
least
cool.
that's a momentous occasion then for you. That's
Yes, yeah.
at least that's stuck in your mind. At least that's the worth it then. That was worth the whole lot.
I didn't have any negative experiences from it at all, which I was expecting to have at least, a few people be like, "Oh, why are you dressed like that? What are you doing?" But I didn't get anything. It was all positive. So yeah, it was very cool.
I know this time last year when I was at MegaCon, I seen like the Young Bucks. There's a load of more now wrestlers going to the cosplayers and Comic Cons now. It's like wrestling's still coming quite big, especially like the AEW, all the little wrestling organisations. They're just with WrestleMania next weekend. Any match you're looking forward to, or are you going to be doing it live yourself on your channel, or anything like that?
I'm not going to be doing it live. No. We'll be running through the card and predicting it on the main event podcast on JEZ Sports this coming Tuesday. That'll be recorded and predicting what's going to happen and talking that all through, and then we'll do a rundown afterwards. But I'm looking forward to the main event, Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns.
Yeah.
As much as the outcome of it is fairly inevitable, and we all know that Cody is going to walk away with the belt. I would say.
I'm hoping he does. If not, with some of the rumors I've heard, it's like if not, I'm crossing my fingers. Rock doesn't turn up and say, "I'll challenge you at SummerSlam," and it's like 6 months down the line, he's like, "There's another belt." It's like, no, just no.
No, I'm with you. I want as much as I've really enjoyed Roman Reigns as in this heel head of the table tribal chief character. Really enjoyed that, but I think WWE is struggling at the moment without a full-time pair of world champions. They've got too many people, too much television time to have just one world champion that is only there 2 weeks out of the month. It's not really working. So yeah, and hopefully Cody Rhodes wins it, and even if he's still keeps both of the belts, and but is just defending
injury free,
that'll be much better. But yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to the tag team championship match with the Usos and Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. That should be good. But I'm generally looking forward to the whole thing, really. And it's been quite a while since I've actually looked forward to a WrestleMania. I looked forward to last year's. Things were pretty good last year, and things have been going from strength to strength with Triple H in charge of WWE now instead of Vince McMahon. So yeah, quite excited in general to be a wrestling fan in 2023.
Yeah, I think the only thing that still puts me off in like wrestling genre, I've always watched it since like WrestleMania 5, and I'll always keep watching it no matter what. But sometimes the only thing that gets me, I know WWE is completely different. AEW does occasionally say he's injured, but like when a wrestler goes injured or needs to take time off, WWE doesn't say anything. They always come with like an excuse, like the Bray Wyatt situation. I haven't got a clue. I know, understandable. Sometimes you can hear by like your social medias, your podcasts, and bits like that on Twitter. You can find out what's happening to the wrestlers and bits. But that sometimes it gets me. It's like, where's that person disappeared to? You haven't seen them for a couple of weeks. It's like, oh, he's got injured. Didn't you say? I was like, no, they don't tell the injuries or nothing.
Yeah, no, and I think that is what WWE are lacking, really.
Yeah,
but they try to be more like real world sports, but then they don't want to do simple things like have an injury list and declare when people are injured. It's only really if somebody's got a championship that they will actually tell you that they're injured.
Yeah.
Or if they have been unceremoniously fired, they'll tell you then as well.
And fired the fired situation is perfect. I know when the COVID was on, they didn't want to say who's got COVID just in case the rest of the locker room. I can understand that bit. But yes, at the moment, he's like, Bray Wyatt, where's he gone? I haven't got a clue. No one said anything. It's that sort of stuff. Especially if you like certain wrestlers or certain gimmicks or a certain storyline you keep seeing or popping up, which, where's he got? It's, like, I know, like Tommaso Ciampa never got mentioned. Bobby Roode. There's a few that's just disappeared. It's just gone nowhere,
Yeah. No, I can tell you what happened to those guys, but not because WWE said so, just because they've said so on their own social medias or through the wider news and things like that. But yeah,
that's where the if you want to like keep it in the storyline just on TV, it's very hard. But like you say, to follow it fully, like you say, you need to then follow their Instagrams, their official ones, I don't think anyone uses Facebook on them. It's more or less Twitter on it.
No, it is, yeah, Twitter and Instagram that they
it's
use.
more or less Twitter, 99%, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. And I miss the days they used to do it, especially in the Attitude Era, where if somebody was injured and they had to take some time off, or they just needed some time off for any other reason, they would have some kind of storyline reason for them not being there. Like when Stone Cold Steve Austin needed to take extended time off to have neck surgery, they run him over, but it created a storyline. Then when he came back, he walked straight into a new storyline rather than just coming back without any kind of reason or things to do. So I liked when they tried to explain from a storyline point of view where people were. So even if you don't want to say what's actually wrong with them, you can present it as a storyline. Where's Bobby Roode? Oh, he got hit with a frozen cat and is now out for 6 months or something like that.
Yeah, that's what Bobby. Yeah, when the storyline works, it's perfect, isn't it? When you can follow it, you're involved with it. It's perfect. Okay, back to the toys then, Jez. Where can you see like Sentai or Power Rangers going in the future? Or at least Sentai toys. I know this year's bugs, you've showed a few bugs off, which is the Toku Source, just in case you want any of the new toys. But in the UK, there you go.
Thank you. Yeah, they're very different questions for Super Sentai and Power Rangers, because there's a lot of change going on with both, really. In the last few years, Super Sentai has changed quite a lot. You've seen bigger teams with a lot more involvement from other people. You've seen a lot more Kamen Rider style things happening in Super Sentai, so the storylines have become a little bit more mature. And as they have changed the way that the show works, they've been changing the toys up as well. They haven't really had any kind of major gimmick releases. It's been purely based on the team and on the mecha.
Yeah.
So I think that they're going to continue down that road for Super Sentai, and then just trying to explore themes that they haven't explored before. So we had Don Brothers last year, which was based on Momotaro and the Princess and the Peach story, which they'd never done before. In this year's one, as you say, it's bugs, but it's also knights, kings of various kingdoms. So they're mixing things up there. So I think it won't be predictable in that sense. I couldn't tell you what I think next year's theme is going to be, because I think they're just going to drag a few different things together to make it as unique as possible. Power Rangers, it's very much up in the air where things are going with Power Rangers. There's been a lot of talk for a long time that they're going to move away from adapting Super Sentai, or Hasbro, and that they're going to keep it in-house and make their own stuff from scratch. The upcoming series, Power Rangers Cosmic Fury, is very loosely based on Uchu Sentai Q Ranger, but they're
Which
only
is the Orb series.
The Q-Tama, the orbs that were based on constellations and then very loosely horoscopes as well for some of them. But they're only using the mecha, the Zord footage for that. They're not using the Ranger suits. They're not using the Q-Tama. They've made all of their own stuff for that, and it's a continuation for them of Power Rangers Dino Fury. They've kept the helmets and changed the suits, and so they're really going off on their own. They've a completely unique Morpho Henshin device, and
that's 10 episodes at the end of the season.
Yeah, and it's a short one as well. It's only 10 episodes, and so I think that's more the direction that Power Rangers is going to go. But I also get the feeling that they're going to throw it back a bit more, and rather than create brand new things or even adapt any more Sentai series, I personally think they're going to go back to a remake of Mighty Morphin, or if not a remake, then a reimagining of Mighty Morphin, kind of the Mighty Morphin suits and the powers and the lore, but just for a new generation.
Yeah.
Maybe a completely new continuity, maybe not. And there is a 30th anniversary Power Rangers special coming out mid-April. I think it's April 19th.
19th of April, yeah.
On Netflix. And I think we could see quite a bit of tie-in happening there with and we'll know a bit more about what they plan to do in the future, I think.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of rumor about a group called Space Patrol Alpha being involved in that, which would be the precursor to Space Patrol Delta, which was another Power Rangers series.
Which was filmed in 2025. Or
yeah,
set in 25, but it came like 10 years ago.
Yeah, when was that? 2007?
Something like that.
Yeah, maybe even a bit earlier than that, 2004, 2005. Yeah, so yeah, their vision for 2025, I think, was a bit ambitious.
Yes.
I'm not sure much has changed terribly since 2005, but
no.
There you go.
But the same as Back to the Future as well. I think they got a load of things wrong, but hey ho.
Oh yeah, that's what. Yeah, Star Trek as well. Yeah, none of them have really got the future right, unfortunately. But yeah, so I think when that special comes out, we'll see a bit more of what they're going to do. There may be offshoots, spin-offs of some of the main themes and storylines from that. They may just carry on with the Dino Fury, Cosmic Fury cast and keep doing things with that. I think they're leaving it quite open at the moment, and so they can just decide what they want to do on the fly. And I would hope that they just do what the people want and what's popular, really. But we'll have to wait and see.
Perfect. Any toys you're going to be looking out for this year for 2023 or anything like that?
Personally, yeah, I'm collecting the memorial line from Zenkaija because that's an anniversary series. I got the memorial Gertlinger, which is the big gun that the main five used to transform. I've also got the dark version of that on the way. That released this month, and so they'll be getting that. And they have announced the 6th Rangers Two Kaisers version, which was the big pirate wheel with the sword. And yeah, the memorial line, for those that don't know, are prop size, more adult collectibles. That
more or less like the Power Ranger Lightning collection or Legacy collection from
a bit more like that. Yeah. Show accurate size, 10 times the price is basically the thing that's going on there. So,
more or less like the Marvel stuff, the full size Marvel shields, and
and a lot of the Star Wars things, like the exact replicas of lightsabers and all that kind of thing. That's the kind of line that it is. But so I'll be collecting those. I don't think I'll be collecting any of the Super Sentai stuff because it's not dinosaurs and it's not an anniversary, so I'm not that bothered.
That's one way to collect. That's one way to collect toys. That's a good advice.
You've got to stick with what you like, really. Otherwise, you do very rapidly. And I'm very privileged to do what I do because I get to see all these toys and handle all these toys, and I can have a little play with them and decide whether it is of any interest to me or whether I can just get away with having a go of it for 10 minutes and then putting it away again and being happy with that. And that's very often the case. So yeah.
Perfect. Sounds like heaven and hell at the same time. He's like, okay, I'll just spend this amount of money on stock coming in. He's like, how much do I keep? Do I sell anything? No, I'll just keep the whole lot. Enough is enough. He's like, oh, 1 second, I need to pay that bill. Okay.
It is a difficulty. Yeah. And you've nailed it there.
Perfect. Well, we're almost coming to the end of the show because I know I've got a few things on tonight. Jez has also got a few things on. but I also do like an honourable mention section. On a Wednesday night, you've got guys Toy Division there on Facebook and on YouTube. They do a special YouTube stream. Thursday night, me and Dark Liking 81 will be on his channel hopefully this Thursday doing a special. ZSR on a Friday, which is 3 guys that you haven't checked out. 3 guys on a Friday night. Saturday, can't remember. Sundays, you have got a few things back now. You got Monkey Lizard Army doing his Lego builds. You've got a toy auction as well. That's how probably just finished a bit ago from Monkey's Emporium. You got my Sunday night toy chats as well on Sundays. Next weekend, I will be coming back with possibly a 3 or 4 day live stream special leading up to my 3-year anniversary on the 5th of April. A big shout out to Dark Liking, Magna Fandango, Ronaldo, everyone else that joined us in the chat or been watching along. Jez, thank you again for joining us this Sunday night for a special toy chat.
You're very welcome.
If you want to plug yourself for the next couple of minutes, sir.
Sure, yeah. As I said, I've got my fingers in many, many pies. If you like Toku, then you can find me doing stuff with the Toku Source, thetokusource.com. If you like sports, come and find me at JEZ and I do various podcasts and live streams and articles and coverage with that. I also do a weekly comedy show. That's what we've got here. It's called Don't Get Me Started. It's basically a very explicit look at the world, ranting, bantering with my co-host, and generally putting the world to rights. It's very funny, if I do say so myself. So if you're interested in that, that's on Twitch every Tuesday, twitch.tv/DGMS live. And then occasionally I live stream video games and just general fun stuff on my Twitch channel, which is twitch.tv/the Jez Show.
Perfect. Just before we do go, we do have Action Pub Dag Nick in the chat. So how you doing, Nick? How you doing?
Welcome.
Thank you. He's always he's an action man guy and bits and pieces, so he's coming up in hopefully in the future on the Sunday night chat. Guys, thanks for joining us for this Sunday night special with Jez. Talked about Sentai, Tokyo Satsu, Kamen Rider, showed a few bits off at the beginning. You've also talked about NFL, Non-Fung League, which I always remember it as.
It's a bit more fun now.
Yes. I always called it the Non-Fung League. Ever since Vince McMahon called it the Non-Fung League, we talked about wrestling. Next time I'll ask you about the XFL, if the Rockies still is he took it off now?
No, the XFL is currently in its season. There's a game kicking off in 45 minutes, actually, an XFL game. So
perfect. I'll ask you about that next time, but that's where the non-fun league comes from. I still like that. I'm sorry, but don't forget to find me and Jez here occasionally. You will also find Jez on a load of stuff. Don't forget, all his words and all his stuff will be in the description down below. Thanks for joining us this Sunday evening for this 45-minute special chat with my little Jez, with the Chicago Bulls. I know. I always pick on Jez sometimes when the Chicago Bulls Bears are playing. Is it?
Yeah, I'm a big Chicago Bears fan, and unfortunately, they're not very good. So you get plenty of opportunity to rub that in. Yeah. Apart
from a couple of seasons ago, they were really good for the 45. They were playoffs, weren't they, at one stage?
Yeah, I remember it well, and
then the last couple of seasons have been like, but there you go.
They'll be back this season. I'm sure of it.
Perfect. But thanks again, everyone, for joining us this Sunday evening, afternoon. Keep safe, keep well, and don't forget, toys always matter. Thank you. So, thanks again, Jez.